Hey everybody.
Hi.
It is Monday, February 26th, and we were just going to put out another video real quick about the keto diet. We've got some emails saying that people are confused and overwhelmed and they're getting conflicting info. They're frustrated, they don't know where to start, and one said totally lost. So, I just wanted to start out by saying that the ketogenic diet is just a high fat, medium protein, low carb diet. It's relatively simple. Skip the macros and all the rest of the tech talk and the science behind it and everything.
Breaking into it, it's easier just to focus on not eating as many carbs. Or getting your carbs from the right places as opposed to the normal places where you had been getting them breads, pastas, grains, that sort of thing.
Right. Just a little history. This whole keto diet thing's been around for, a couple of hundred years. There were tests done in the early 1900s on childhood epilepsy that was drug resistant. And through whatever trials they went through, they decided that low carb diets worked very well for drug resistant epilepsy. And then in 1972, Dr. Atkins came out with his Atkins diet and was just a variant on a ketogenic diet. He didn't go quite as low carb as the ketogenic diet suggests you go, but people had amazing results. So,
and still do. I mean,
yeah.
Sharon Osbourne is a huge Atkins person. She said, and she's lost a ton of weight on that.
Yeah.
And looks fantastic.
And her father, in his late 70s, went on Atkins and lost a ton of weight. So, I mean, it's not like it's...
And then he did South Beach.
Yeah, and It's not like it's undoable. The real thing is just basically, and we're doing keto. It's a little bit different, but basically, to get started, just start.
A lot of people, because I've been reading in a lot of forums and that sort of thing, they carb load before they start. That probably will not make this any easier on you.
It'll make those first weeks very, very difficult.
You'll have a lot more cravings and that sort of thing. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but I didn't try it. So when we decided we were going to do this, we just did it. I literally just cleaned everything out and gave it to somebody else and said, okay, you go get fed on this because we're done.
Yeah.
and
that was a lot of stuff. Yeah, there was at least a dozen grocery bags.
Yeah, at least. And a 25-pound sack of flour. So
yeah, well, hopefully Andrew will make a lot of gravy out of that or whatever the hell he's going to do with it. So, in order to start, stop eating carbs. Okay, the quick and easy thing is carbs are bread, underground beans, anything that grows under the ground, pasta, white sugars, any sugar for that matter is high in carbohydrates.
If you're not sure about a food, whether or not it has carbs in it, Google it. I mean, Google is amazing. You can literally find out anything you need to know.
Don't drink your carbs. So, for a lot of the dudes that might be watching this, you got to give up the beer and alcohol. You also have to go with 0-calorie sodas and skip the juices. So if you're a big Gatorade guy or you're a big, soda person or something like that, that's going to take a little bit of getting used to, the caffeine headaches or whatever it is that you might have. We'll have to...
But in speaking about the Gatorade and Powerade stuff, there are, Mio makes electrolyte drops that you can put into your drinks, to flavor your water. So basically you're kind of getting the same thing just without all the sugar in it. So that's a good replacement for that. Now, he said no beer, no alcohol. That's not necessarily true. It is advised at first. We advise. Nobody else. We're not doctors. We're not saying. It is easier if you just cut everything out and then reintroduce it slowly later on. We have not had any bread. I think the only time we splurged was We had coconut waffles that one time,
And the bagels you made yesterday.
and the bagels that I made yesterday, and that is twice in a month and a half,
Right.
almost 2 months.
Yeah,
It's been 2 months for me.
Yeah.
So,
The other thing that starts you off on your way to keto without any real crazy issues is buy real food. You know, if it grows, if it eats, if it if it can see sunlight, it's a real food. Anything that's
what he means is, like an example, don't buy margarine, buy butter. Yes,
Right.
it's more expensive, but you use less, and it has much, much more flavor, and it doesn't taste like plastic.
Having said that, all of the diets that you see out there say, you know, that you need to have grass-fed beef and pork and lamb, and you have to have organic chicken and organic vegetables and things like that.
There are benefits to that.
Absolutely.
But if you cannot afford it, it does not mean you cannot do this diet.
Right.
We don't do any of it because we are on a limited income. We buy what is inexpensive.
Right.
And none of it is grass-fed.
No. Well, except...
Or organic.
Yeah. Like I said, the 3 things that you need to do first is drink water.
Lots of water.
The more water you drink, the better off you're going to be. It's going to get rid of your water weight to begin with, and it's going to keep you kind of full. So it helps with the cravings and things right off the bat.
Also helps with your keto flu because, of course, you're going to be flushing it out faster if you end up getting that. Now, the way to not get it is use that Mio we were speaking about earlier. And pink Himalayan sea salt is a real big help in that as well. Put that on your food. Put it in water if you need to. There are ways to avoid it. You can look at that on Pinterest. You can look at that on Google. It's really up to you. There's a bunch of really good recipes, keto recipes, on Pinterest. Some of my favorites are ruledme.com.
Mm-hmm.
She's good. I'm trying to think. I'm sorry.
It's ruledme.com is RULEDME, ruledme.com. They are a fantastic website. They have good lists of carb light food, light carbohydrate foods. It lists your foods in a little picture, from high to low, whether it's good for you, whether it's bad for you. They do that with meat and dairy. You name it, it's all in there. Just go to ruledme.com and take a real good look around. They also have a section for fast food. Like if you have to be out on the road or whatever, and you need some fast food, they have a whole section there that gives you, who's the best fast food joints and who's not so great at fast food joints. And unfortunately, I'm a huge KFC fan, and they're like 0 on the list. But they're very good. One of the things that you have to kind of do if you haven't already started doing this in your life is you got to read labels. Everything in the United States, and the way I understand it around the world, everybody that manufactures food products and puts it in the store has to have a nutrition label on it. The nutrition label gives you all the information. It tells you how much protein, how much fat, how much carbohydrates. But we bought a jar of pickles that said it had 0 calories, 0 carbs, 0 this, 0 that, and it sounded a little too good to be true, but we bought it anyway thinking, great, man, I'll eat.
Well, technically I purchased it because he loves pickles, and I personally am not a fan, but I thought it'd be something cool that he could munch on, for those times that he just can't.
And they were Vlasic, so it's not like we bought, Dollar General brand.
Okay, don't
Sorry.
bash Dollar General.
You know what I mean?
A store brand or anything like that, or an off brand.
We bought the bomb ones, and turns out that label was completely wrong. We went online and checked after the fact, and those things are...
After he'd eaten some.
Yeah, after I eaten 9 or 10 of them, thinking I didn't have to worry about it. We found out that they've got 6 or 7 grams of straight up carbs, no fiber, just carbs. So, I ate, like 100 grams of carbs that day in pickles.
But that's, unfortunately, we're telling you this to learn from our mistakes, and we've done that a few times with things.
If it sounds too good to be true, everybody's got a smartphone these days. Go online real quick, right there at the store. If it looks like, 0 carbs, 0 calories, 0 this, 0 that, but you're actually looking at something in the jar, it's not just air, Go online and
Also,
Google
check
it.
the ingredients level. I mean, the ingredients. Ingredients are listed by how much is in it. So the first item is the most in that jar. So if one of the first 3 or 4 items, or any of the items, is sugar,
You know that
you might want to avoid that.
Yeah, you
Even
know
if
that
it
you're getting
says
yourself
no
into
added
something.
sugar, there's sugar in there.
One other thing, when you start this keto thing, you are going to start feeling energized at some point. I swear
Everybody's
it'll
different.
happen. Yeah, it may take longer, it may take shorter, but man, at some point it's going to kick you that all of a sudden you've got more energy to do things than you've ever had before. The minute that kicks in, take advantage of it. Exercise. You can do anything you want. You can walk. You can go to the gym if you want to. I'm going to write an article. I have an article written that I'm going to post either today or tomorrow about different kinds of things that you can do to help your motivation, because motivation doesn't necessarily go hand in hand with energy. I have all the energy in the world, but I got no desire whatsoever to take my ass to the gym. Go figure.
Well, not to mention, that's not an expense.
Yeah, that
Don't
too.
need to go to the gym. Go outside and walk. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a really horrible neighborhood for that, but
Yeah, we live in the
we
mountains.
still do it. So, not far.
No. And one last thing about keto that will jettison your progress and everything is fasting. Now, it's an entirely different state of mind, way of approaching things, but according to all of the experts, and by that I mean, the 10 or 20 that I've read, fasting and keto are first cousins. To do one without the other works fine, but when you do them both together, you just got a gang of stuff working in your favor. So, I'll have more about intermittent fasting and exercise and labels and all the rest of that. Like I said, I've got an article that I've already written that I just got to tweak about motivation. And we've got articles from Tony about her background, and I'm also writing an article about my background, only my background is about 3 pages long and hers was half a page.
I skimmed it.
Yeah, again, we are here at ketocouplesjourney.com to help you guys see what this is like. I took measurements again this morning. I'm another ½ inch down around my belly and ½ inch down around my hips. And if the tape is to be believed and we did it right, I'm almost 2 inches down in my chest from last week. Altogether that puts me at 14 inches around my waist, around my belly or something like that. So it's a ton in a month and a week.
That being said, last week was a rough week. We, of course, like we said, we're scale watchers, but our phones track our weight loss as well because we put our scale amounts in our phones every day. I don't know about you. I lost 1.3 pounds.
I lost 1.6.
I mean, it's hard. So the measurements come in really helpful when it does that, when it comes to that, seeing a difference.
Yeah, because if you mess around and watch the scale the way that we do, those 1 pound weeks can worry you a little bit. Not worry, but just, completely stress you out. That's pretty much the gist of this one. So if you have any questions, we are at ketocouplesjourney@gmail.com.
I'll be starting to post recipes this week too of things that we're eating on a regular basis.
So check ketocouplesjourney.com, check Facebook /ketocouplesjourney, check Instagram @ketocouplesjourney ATL. Subscribe to all of this. That's the best way to do it because you'll get notifications whenever anything goes up. But like I said, don't forget it on Instagram. We're Keto Couples Journey ATL because apparently somebody wanted my name before I got a chance to get it. So please, we're just here to help. We're not doing anything special. We're not scientists. We're not doctors.
We're not exercising.
We're not exercising, unfortunately.
We're so lazy.
Yeah. The dog would want us to exercise more, but just can't get around to it. Yeah. He gets out there and gets winded a couple of times up and down the hill. So, thanks for everything, guys. Thanks for the emails and all the rest of that. It's nice to know that people are watching and listening and checking out things. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to do the research for you. Just drop us an email. And
That's it.
we'll catch y'all later.
Bye.